all doing today? I hope you are well. It is the beginning of 2019. Can you guys believe it? I can't believe it. 2019 was not a real year 5 years ago. My name is PlatinumTrophyWife. Huh? What?
No, continue. Sorry.
Oh, okay. My name is PlatinumTrophyWife. I am your host of Valhalla's Most Wanted Podcast, the best streaming community on Twitch. You know it. And here is my co-host. Wrong way.
Hi,
I always
I'm
go the wrong
Greyhound
way.
Gaming. I'm the co-host of Valhalla's Most Wanted, the best podcast in the universe, apparently.
And best streaming community.
Woo!
We have a lot
That's
of
all.
bests this episode, so we had to throw those out with the best of the bests.
Fair enough. Hey, that's all I got. Hi.
Go ahead, Richie.
I'm Richie. I am the thickest pizza crust lover of this side of Arizona. Also a part of Valhalla's Most Wanted, the best community in them all, the galaxy, in the Milky Way, and Valhalla.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, yeah. Throwing it in there.
Yeah.
Wow. The whole candy bar.
Yeah. Thor's got some competition.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hello. Hi, I'm Williams. I've been dead for about a month, but I'm back. How's it going?
Like Taylor Swift, you rise out of the ground?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm well known for abusing cereal on Twitter, so
Kind of
that's
upsetting.
me.
That's actually
I upset
100%
many
true.
people.
Yeah,
A little
just
upsetting.
for that, yeah. All right, so we're gonna continue with just the three of us.
All right.
And he's gone. Part of the plan.
But yes, this is obviously the first episode of 2019, so I really wanted to kind of delve back into 2018 and see what's up, see the bests and worsts of 2018, because, you know, there were a lot of ups, there were a lot of downs. So, like, let's go through them, shall we?
Let's do it.
Ooh,
Let's
pretty
do
rainbow
it.
font.
All right.
We got pretty rainbow font in 2018.
We do.
Yeah.
It was a very good year.
Right.
It's bright AF. It's too bright.
It's like Plaid's hair. It's just sparkling.
So the first category.
Awkward silence.
I know, it's just well, just because it's like not nearly as bright as it was when I first got it dyed.
It looks like it's doing a really cool fade thing. Like you all planned it
yeah.
out, though. I like it.
It's rose gold. It's really in right now.
Oh,
It's
okay,
rose
okay.
gold.
I hope
No, like
everybody listens to
100%
all
true
this.
though. People do dye their hair this color on purpose.
People dye their hair this color.
Yeah.
The silver fox, dude.
Yeah, there it is.
Meow.
So, chat, if you're here live, by all means, play along, because we do want to know your opinions. So if you are watching live on Twitch and not on YouTube, by all means, this is what happens. You get to interact.
Yeah, as we talk and discuss best and worst, I will be creating straw polls and with chat suggestions and our suggestions, putting them in, and at the end of the stream, we can come back and see what you guys voted for each thing.
Ah! So the first category is, what is the best film that isn't a reboot or a sequel of 2018? This is the only one that I don't have an answer for.
Really?
Because I was like, Infinity War. Oh no.
Well,
Spider-Verse. Oh no.
I got one, dude. I think you might agree with me on this one. I think if you've seen it. I
Go
don't
ahead.
know. By far, without any competition, since it's not a sequel or a reboot, it's A Quiet Place.
I haven't seen that yet. I really
I haven't.
want to.
I don't like horror films. I don't.
Okay. Now, see,
I want to see that, but I haven't yet. I've been waiting.
I did not see. I was not a fan of. You know, I'm not a fan of like the jump scares and like like that's why I don't play like Resident Evil and stuff. But the world that this all took place in, it wasn't like, oh, let's go take our truck to the cabin and crash it into the woods and find a random cabin and find a really creepy family there. It was like the entire world was changed because of like these random monsters, and I was like, oh my god, okay, like I'm in. And it's like you have to be silent. So there's always that teetering line of like pressure because you don't know what's going to happen. But it wasn't nearly as scary as I thought, and it was just such a fresh take on being scared in like a whole new world. I was bought like right away. Like I love The Office too.
There's already rumoring a sequel.
Oh no,
I know
Oh.
nothing about the movie, and I don't want to talk spoilers, but I know they're planning a sequel. I don't know if it's going to be same characters. I don't know if it's going to be new characters. I have no
Spoilers!
idea.
They
So
all
was it kind of like a
survive.
thriller kind of
it was it was kind of like a thriller because like you understand the threat, right? Like and you know what sets them off, so like you can kind of anticipate when things are gonna happen. So you're not sitting there like getting like scared out of bejesus like every single second, but to me it was just the world that was being built around that entire premise of being quiet was just incredible.
Mm.
And
I think a
you
fair
know,
question is, did you see it in theaters or did you
I did.
see it? Okay,
I
so
did. I
then
saw
you
it the
got
opening
the
weekend.
like everyone in the theater had to be quiet.
And the best thing too, I guess that part of it that was in the movie is that everyone was quiet.
Right.
Not a single like baby crying or like someone on their phone. Like everybody was sitting in there and they were completely delved in to the world. And like I loved it. The ending was kind of was good too in a sense. I wanted more and it was good that I wanted more, but like I think to me why it stood out so much was because that completely took me out of my comfort zone of movies, right? Like I love the superheroes and I love the personal stories and some of obviously Logan's like probably top 5 movies for me of all time, but like I don't do this kind of stuff and this thing was so interesting to me. It was like, okay, you got to, let's give this a shot, and it blew my expectations like way out of the water. So it was really good. I saw it twice actually.
Jeez.
And
so you saw it for me. I'm good.
I did, yeah. You liked it too. Smile.
Awesome.
No.
I loved it.
What
But,
about movies that are part of a franchise that aren't technically sequels? Like, would you consider Black Panther
Yes,
a sequel?
I would.
Is that
I was gonna say.
okay?
I would.
I enjoyed Black Panther
because it's
for
a
sure.
part of something else. It's not
Right.
like original IP.
Well, I wanted to say I enjoyed. Oh wait, that is a remake. Never mind. Because wait, has there been a Venom movie?
No.
I really enjoyed Venom. I thought it was funny.
I
it was
would
some
consider
cool
that
theme.
its own thing because it's not related to any of the current Spider-Man movies or the Marvel universe. It is a standalone. It is a character that has already existed, but is a new movie, a new take, a new.
Sure.
It's not connected to all the existing stuff.
Sure.
I
It's
like that
it's
movie.
its own. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Like I'll concede, Black Panther is not.
Right, because
But I
that's
would
part of the
say
MCU.
Venom.
Therefore,
Yeah.
it's like if you have to watch it in chronological order, it's a part of something else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now this was going to take up a later possible category you mentioned, but of the movies I've seen that come out this year, that's probably my favorite is Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that was gonna be my vote. I kind of
watched that
considered
one
it a
so
part of
badly.
something else, but it is its own thing right now. So,
Mhm.
that's my vote as well. Is Spider-Verse.
I've heard so many good things from it, but I want to see it so badly.
Yeah, I've yet to see it too.
So good.
Holy shit!
Probably see it next week.
When you post straw poll links into Twitch
Yeah, it
chat,
says
immediately
vote
goes, "These
now."
poll available. It
Yeah.
recognizes that.
That's way
Fancy.
cool. Guys, we are professionals, and we knew that was gonna happen.
We knew it. We knew it.
And
This is
now
all
you
planned,
see,
my guys.
Yeah.
there is a
Planned,
vote.
Don't
Skit.
worry about it.
All bit.
It's a whole bit. Wasn't that funny, guys? We're professionals. Also, because right now I have the like shush from Quiet Place, I think we should all do it. Just give me like. And now we're dead because we're talking.
I at least got the beard.
That's a really good picture for it though too, because like that's kind of like you when you're watching the movie too, because you
Right.
don't really know what's gonna happen.
Well, that was like the meme because he does it like 8 times
Yeah.
in the film or something like
yeah.
that.
No.
No.
Quiet.
Oh yeah, Fat Mike Tizzle brings up a good point. Bohemian Rhapsody was not a sequel or a reboot.
Mhm.
That's true.
That was a
too.
good film. That
Ready
was a
Player
good
One was
film.
last year. Yeah, that was 2018.
Yeah.
I
But
brought up a list
Spider-Verse
of,
I
like-
would want to rewatch.
Yeah, I brought up a list of like popular movies of 2018 and threw that on there for extra like ones just in case.
Yeah.
But
I liked Ready Player One. I kind of felt like it was a lot of nostalgia padding to the movie
Oh, yeah.
too.
Mm.
I just
Oh,
felt
yeah.
like it was like a lot of the draw to it was just like, here you go, nostalgia flick, and I was
Yeah,
like,
it's like here, look at this cool reference. Like, oh yeah. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean,
It-
that's what the book was, to be fair.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I never read the book, but I remember like when the movie came out, like there are various YouTubes and everyone's talking about it. And one person commented is like, I don't know how they're gonna make a book about this. And they read like one page, and half of that page they read was just lists of stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was just like the book is just vomiting cultural reference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was kind of like a popcorn kind of flick with a little like a little extra fluff on it. Like it was because of the nostalgia, I enjoyed it more. But
Yeah.
like it was a simple 3-part quest kind of thing with a storyline or a love story that kind of got, I don't want to say pushed in there, but it was like, oh, you love her. Okay, I guess. Yeah, I saw that coming. Sure. And it was like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I guess. Okay, it's gonna end up like this. Oh, okay, but there was like that one twist where that explosion happened and killed, I believe, his parents or something. And I was like, oh, okay, that like completely like my expectations were subverted or whatever the fancy word is.
Mhm.
But I was like, a couple of the things I was sitting there, I was just like, yeah, this is fun. I just kind of want to go home and play video games now.
Yeah.
It was good. I'd give it like a 6 or a 7, but I don't know if I'd like watch it again over and over like willingly. So
Also, just
kinda
so
with
y'all
Mike on
know,
that
since
one.
we are talking about the whole year, spoilers will be had. Just so you know. So
Nice picture.
Spider-Verse is by far my favorite that I've seen that came out last year. Like
Yeah.
I got out, I told a friend, it's like if I still purchased movies, I would buy that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Oh, I'm still
I would-
buying it.
like I love that movie. I love the art style, the integrations of like respecting the origins of the art style, the comedy with this serious tone they had. Like I loved everything about that movie.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
I first saw it, the first thing that grabbed my attention was the art style of that film. Like when I saw the first trailer of it, I was like, okay, I want to see this because
The art is
absolutely
so
love
different. I
Mhm.
love it.
Yeah. Like I have a scene from I made my background on my computer a scene from the movie.
Me
And
too.
keep in mind, up until I changed that, my background was still the default Windows background. That's how that's how rare I
still
actually
have the
even changed
default
it.
Windows
Yeah, I still have
background.
the default of mine
Exactly.
right now,
This
too.
I
movie
just
was
realized
enough
that
to
once you
make me
mentioned that, I was like, oh, I like pulled down my Discord window and I was like, yeah.
This movie was good enough to make me change it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so funny though, because I just changed it yesterday because I was so sick of my Red Dead Redemption background that I changed it to Spider-Man.
Mine is from the top of a building, like looking down, you see the cities, and Spider-Man sleeping, and he got his arms back as he's like falling backwards.
He's like doing like kind of like a backflip.
He's in the middle of
He's
it, but yeah,
kinda
right now
like-
he's just playing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have the one where he's like falling up essentially.
Okay.
That one's it was
Such a good one.
like that moment in the film. I was just like, I haven't felt this way in a movie since How to Train Your Dragon when he like touches the dragon. I was like, oh!
So in the movie Mr. Spider-Verse, they had a trailer for the next How to Train Your Dragon coming out,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and like when did the first one come out? 2000.
Oh, jeez.
9 or 10, right?
Yeah, so like 10 years ago. So like I'm in my 20s when it came out.
Yeah.
Like I'm an adult that went to the drive-in.
I'm an adult.
But that scene where like Toothless has like the stick and is like drawing in the sand and stuff like that,
Right.
adult me giggled his ass off at that scene. I don't know what it was about that scene that hit me like perfectly, but I giggled my ass off. Like I don't know why. Like
That's
every now and then there's
amazing.
just like a scene in a movie that just hits you and you're like,
Right.
what is that?
It was 2010.
2010.
Nice.
Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school. Haha.
I was
I knew it
25.
was high school. I knew it was high school. Yeah, it looks like I think that the third one's coming out what in a couple weeks. It's like, or maybe is it February? I know it's really early this year, but the next one's coming out. And it looks good too. I had no idea what's coming out too. That's all you guys.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was actually 12 years old when that movie came out. Wow.
12 years old, huh?
Yeah, 12
That's
years old, by the way.
amazing. I love that film. So our second category is what was the best TV show to binge in 2018?
Ooh.
Good Place.
Good Place? You binged Good
Good-
Place?
I love that show so
I
much.
feel like that show really took off this year compared to when it came out.
Well, what happens is the first couple episodes, like I know a lot of people who watch like the first couple and like, I'm not really feeling this, and they stop.
Yeah.
But like anytime a new show comes out, unless it's just bad, like I give it about I give it about 6 to 10 episodes before I'll quit because they've
Okay.
already pre-filmed like 3 or 4,
Right.
Mhm.
so they don't have audience feedback to start making changes.
Right.
So I give about 10 episodes before I'll stop watching a show and stuff like that.
That's
But
pretty
like
fair.
after you get through the first couple episodes of Good Place and it really like establishes what it is, and then it goes, it's freaking hysterical. Like so once you get to the end of the first season, you tell everyone you got to watch Good Place. You have to.
Mhm.
It's so good.
Hmm.
Okay.
Love Good Place.
That's what I keep
Love it.
hearing.
Does it have to come out
Yeah,
last year or
yeah.
just something that?
Not necessarily. For this one, I'm kind of giving leeway because,
Okay.
like, Good Place didn't come out this year, but for whatever reason,
Right.
this is the year
This
that
is the year it got
everyone binged it.
Mhm.
Like, for whatever
Mhm.
reason, this was the year that Good Place was huge. So I'm
Gotcha.
giving leeway because it is a TV show and you have to binge it. Like, it could be this was the year I binged Lost. Like, it's fine.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, well, the last show that I took multiple seasons in binge watch was actually Lost. Because I sat
Sorry
there,
to take your
Hmm.
example.
and the perfect segue coming in here, ladies and gentlemen, right on the Elgato Stream Deck TM. It was actually Lost that the last one that I did like a really big binge, right? Like everything else got pushed to the side, and I was just watching this show when I get off of work or whatever. It was Lost. But the shows that I will recurringly watch over again, for right now, it's been like these 3. It's been Punisher, Daredevil, and Justified. Because I just Justified is something that I could talk about for ages. Obviously, everybody knows I love Punisher, and I've grown to really like Daredevil. But Justified has this real world. It comes from a book series, and it's just so perfectly casted. It's like set in Kentucky, so it's got like this kind of it's like a westerny kind of good guy versus bad guy kind of thing. But like everything about the show is believable. Like I thoroughly feel like the camera just got set on this main character and someone just started rolling, and like everything was believable. So for me, the number one show I've binge watched the most is Justified, but the last one that I did in like bulk was Lost for sure.
Who's the main guy of Justified? I think it's the guy I always visually confuse with like Carl Urban, but it's not him.
The character's name is Raylan, but the actor is Timothy Oliphant.
Tim Oliphant, thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm. He's
Yeah, I've
and
never
pretty
seen trailers
much
of that.
pretty much what is shown in the picture is kind of who he is. He's kind of like he's got that gunslinger mentality
Mhm.
of like this he's a U.S. Marshal is his job in the show, and he's just his character is just so believable. Like you're not gonna sit there and get story like he's not gonna just sit there and spout like, okay, when I was 5 this happened, when I was 10 this happened, and then I went to do this and I went to do that. No, you're just kind of they just started rolling, like the camera just started, boom, that was it. Like you get introductions and stuff, but it was just such a it was something different because I was like, I like westerns. I live in Arizona, so we have like the OK Corral down in Tucson. So it's like, okay, it's kind of it's a cool piece of history, but this was just so well done and just absolutely perfectly casted that I just
Yeah,
keep repeating
I
binge
think
watching
I
this
watched
over.
like the first season of that, enjoyed it, and just never continued. Like I
It,
did the same thing for what's that space show?
Orville?
No, I'll
Space
remember it
Show.
later.
Space Show
It's got
is
the
very
original Punisher in it.
Thomas Jane's in it? I don't know. That's interesting. I know Orville.
Expanse.
Oh, Expanse. Okay.
Like I really love the first season of Expanse, and apparently the second, third season are really good as well. Again, I remember liking it, just never continued.
Okay. Yeah, this one's on Justified's on Prime Video. So if you have Prime TM, then you can obviously watch that for free. But yeah, that's where I get mine. That's where I do that, and it's just great. I love it to death.
All right, Wames, Platinum.
Well, I have been binging Game of Thrones. I'm a little bit late
Whoa!
to the party, but I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones lately, and it has been an absolute emotional roller coaster.
That's
So
amazing.
I'm finally jumping on the hype train. I know season 8 is season 8, right?
I think
It's coming
so.
out this year.
Yeah,
later,
this year.
like in April, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on we just finished season 5, so we're
must be
starting
season
season 6 soon. I've been watching it with a bunch of friends, so Yeah, I that show has made me go through so many emotions, so much rage. There's just like happiness, just like PogChamp incarnate.
Slutzy, you're
Uh,
on season 5.
Yeah, I stopped that a couple seasons ago because I've been reading the book since they first started, and like
Season
I
5.
I have no problem like enjoying two separate tellings of a similar story. Like I can respect that a TV show will do something different than the books did, but like I kind of want to finish the books before I finish the show.
I get
Like
you.
I want to see how the books end and then see what the show does, as
Yeah.
opposed to like. So,
Yeah,
but
I see.
otherwise,
I feel
is
you.
that your vote as well, Platinum? Is that?
No, I just had to pull them out. You're done with season 5?
Just finished season 5.
Season
like
6.
last night. Oh no. Spoilers.
That's a good pick. I'm so glad you're watching Game of Thrones. I absolutely love Game of Thrones.
What's your vote, Plat?
My vote, and I think anyone who watches my stream will know.
Oh, you're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
do Smallville.
No.
Well,
That's a
there
good
you
one, though.
go.
I forgot I binged that this year. No, it's Riverdale.
Mhm.
Yep. Had a feeling.
It was
When
so
you watch it,
good.
when you watch it on stream with your chat, that's how you know it's good. That's how you know someone enjoys that show.
That's just how you know I'm obsessed with it, because I already watched most of it, and then
Mhm.
I want to watch this with other people, or like other people were like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever watch that, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it during stream, that way you have to watch it.
Right.
So I
There it is.
rewatched it with my community.
200 IQ. Trying
Yep.
to get people. You
Right
need
here,
to watch this
baby.
show.
Right
I will
here.
incorporate it into your life if I have to.
And I will say that I converted a lot of people. They were like, that show looks dumb, and we started watching it together, and they were like, all right.
Okay.
This is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So, highly recommended. It's based off of Archie characters, which has nothing to do with the plot, and
At all.
it's just mystery with beautiful high schoolers who are obviously in their late 20s and 30s. So-
Obviously, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
as you do.
I love
As
the,
you
I love
do.
I think it's more of inspired by than based off of.
Well, it says, because it says it's based off the characters, not the comics, like not the
Yeah.
stories or whatever, but it says it based off of Archie characters. So it's the Archie characters, it's Archie, it's Veronica, it's Betty, etc. And like
Yeah.
the style of the show, I think, is what sets it apart from everything else. And I will throw out there, if you are into the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is on Netflix, this is in the same universe. So if you like
Yeah,
the
because
Chilling,
one of the characters like shows up or something.
yeah,
Wait,
like
really?
Sabrina the Teenage Witch was starred in Archie comics. Like that's how she got. Like Sabrina the Teenage Witch is a spin-off of Archie
Oh,
comics.
I didn't know that.
So if you're,
Yeah.
the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is a lot creepier, like horror-ish. But essentially the same aesthetic of like, I have no idea what year this is taking place.
Yeah,
Is
like,
in Riverdale
it
as
feels
well.
Like it's like the 40s, and then every now and then, one character 7 episodes later will pull out a cell phone. And you're like,
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, they have cell phones, but they also have rotary phones that they use just as much as their cell phones. And they like the 50s diner is 50s, obviously. The aesthetic is 60s, like their clothes are 60s, but they're talking as if it's now. And
yeah,
So-
I love and hate when shows do that. Like animes do that a lot. Like I remember growing up watching like Naruto when it like first came on. So like
Mhm.
they're like it always feels like it's like supposed to be this really like way back when kind of time period. And then
Mhm.
one person they're on a mission and they have like the throat voice comms that they're using to communicate.
Yeah.
You're like, that's like really modern military tech. And then
Yeah.
other episodes they're using ninjutsu to tell it to communicate, but it's like, I already know you have this super high tech stuff. Like, why are you?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, a famous movie star's coming in. I'm like, you guys watch movies now? Like, what is
You watch
technology
movies
do you
now?
have?
What year is it?
What's going on?
Yeah. There's like
I'm
a
with
point
you.
in the show where they talk about all their favorite movies, and all of their favorite movies are like, it was like Rebel Without a Cause, anything with Audrey
Yeah.
Hepburn in it, and I was like, what?
Where are you taking
You wouldn't
place?
say that now. Like, you can say that, but not everyone would say that in the booth. But anyway,
Yeah.
Well, it's
it
like
was
when you
funny.
watch a TV show or movie, every character is always watching a TV show or movie from like the 50s. It's all black and white. You're
Yep,
like, oh yeah, because you can just do that without having to pay royalties.
totally. So, obviously, we are live on Twitch, aka
We're live.
a very gaming-centric streaming site. So I think it's only right that we talk about games. So, instead of Game of the Year, who cares? What was your worst game ever this year?
Did we have to purchase the game, or can we say like a game that we saw?
You can
That-
say a game that you saw. That's fine.
Atlas. I'm sorry, but Atlas.
You mean the
literally
new No Man's
reskin of,
Sky?
Yeah, literally Ark reskin. There was even a menu that showed it was an Ark menu, like in Atlas, that showed Atlas being the ocean expansion that never was for Ark.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And that alone was just like, yeah, nope.
So
On
you never
Fallout
bought
76,
it?
I've heard some interesting things about that as well.
I had like 4 different ones pop up when I saw this question, and I was like, okay, well, depending on where she time locks me, I'm gonna answer this question.
Well, hold
So,
on. Let
like-
me ask a question of Wayne. So did you want Atlas and then you watched other streamers and went, never mind, I'm not buying it?
Okay, it started out when I saw it at the Game Awards like stream. They had a trailer for it, and I was like, this looks very much like Ark, and I'm a big fan of Ark. I love Ark so
Okay.
much. So I was like, I recognized right away that a bunch of assets were taken from Ark, and I was like, ooh, is this gonna? This looks just like Ark, and I was a little bit sketchy, but I was like, I'm probably gonna want it anyway.
Okay.
And then I saw it, and I saw it launch, and I was like, this is literally Ark. I'm not about to pay $30
They even had a
for
fake
a game I
launch.
already have.
They had a fake
But
launch.
like
They
reskin.
they were like, game's gonna launch on Friday. Everyone come in Friday.
Yeah,
Game's gonna launch on Friday. Then
right.
Friday comes, they go, here's a trailer for the game we're launching next week, and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it was
delayed it.
after it was supposed to launch.
Yeah, like an hour
They
later.
were like, by the way,
They-
it's not.
Yikes.
Yeah, no, they delayed the game twice on the day it was supposed to come out.
Mm.
Like they were like, okay, streamers, here's your time. You have our game. You have the key. It'll be unlocked for you at this time. And then like I think it was maybe like half an hour the first day. They're like, sorry, we unexpected issues, delayed 4 hours. 4 hours later, it's delayed till tomorrow. Comes out the next day. Streamers come out and play it, and they're just like, what is this?
We waited like a good 2 weeks for like this game to actually release, and it is an absolute mess of a game. People
Yeah.
couldn't play for like hours.
Just
Oh,
to back up
no.
your point, Williams. It was just it was that
It
bad.
was-
It was
it was
delayed
horrible.
twice, and it was still
Yeah.
a trash can.
So when I googled Atlas, this was the picture that came up. So instead of giving a picture of the
Yeah,
actual
there-
game, I did this instead.
Flat is just showing you a map of every single person who despises this game. Here it
Yeah.
is. It's just
You
easier
see
to tell you.
the rage increases as the orange. You can tell people in Russia.
You see, the
just
U.S.
not
is
a
in
fan.
green because we spent the most money on this garbage. And Russia is in red because they spilled blood over how terrible it was. So.
Yeah.
The best thing to come out, the best content that came out of that game, I swear to God, was the new meme of this really is a pirate game because it stole all of our
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Oh, perfect! That was, this is the best joke of the whole thing.
100%.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
God.
So Wayne's vote was Atlas. That's a good one. Richie, go ahead and pad the runtime here while
Okay.
I just close my window.
100% will. I was gonna say, and it's probably beating a dead horse at this point, but of all time, like my personal biggest disappointment ever was No Man's Sky, like easily, because
But yeah, now you're several years old though.
yeah, no, I mean the thing that stuck out to me the most it was always No Man's Sky. That was the absolute worst. It was terrible, and it was just there was no direction to it. It was just like what's going on? So I thought that was what we were going for. Worst game ever that you played.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
no, you're
explain that
good.
properly.
But it was for last year. It had to have been I'll divulge in this a little bit, but it is definitely Fallout 76 for me personally because as everybody knows, a lot of people who found me and who know me and who talk to me, I played 7 days, and I love that survival-esque kind of like the apocalyptic. You gotta survive. You gotta, you have the freedom to build your own everything. I love Fallout 3, and I thought Fallout 4 was good. It wasn't as good as the third one. I thought New Vegas was a lot of fun as well. And so you throw me into a world that's, apocalyptic and built in survival, and I'm just like, okay, you are literally panning to my bread and butter is exactly what I love. And not only that, but you have 3 and 4 set like hundreds of years after the bombs go off, right? So everything is already settled. People have come out of the vaults. They've established their roots, their systems, their society. They have all the information. You're a brand newborn coming out a couple hundred years after the bombs went off, right? After the wasteland just got destroyed. And so they said they changed their premise to now you're the first responder. Now you're the first one out 20 years after the bombs went off. You are the ones creating these settlements and creating how we're going to resustain human life on Earth. And it just flopped. And it was terrible because I wanted to play that premise. I wanted to kind of feel responsible for, after the bombs went off, I wanted to build up my own settlement. I wanted to gather my people and have all my, all that's everything the game promised, and it was just, it fell flat. It fell super flat.
Yeah, I feel like they're relying too much on players' ability to interact in a dynamic world being too key. Because even when they announced it, they were like, people have been playing our games for years. They keep coming back and they keep coming back. And it's like, yeah, because they can play it on their own time by themselves with community made modifications.
Right.
Right.
You literally took the three biggest parts of why people coming back away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is why. Like, you are correct. I recently went back and played, like, Skyrim. I recently went back and played Fallout 4. Like, I recently went back and played Morrowind. Like, yeah, people do go back and replay your games years later because the communities make mods and it's fun and exciting and different. And, like, you just removed all of this.
Well, plus I feel like you would go back years later to a solo campaign more than you would a multiplayer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, unless it was like a big part of your like when you played it, like you were really into it, and you're like coming back to see how it was like. I wouldn't.
Well, yeah, because you need to be like, is the developer still even supporting this? Is it all hackers now? Like,
I think one of the things that's disappointing too is that this is Bethesda that we're talking about that had a game that flopped this hard.
Like, I mean, that's not surprising to me.
Not. Well, I think Fallout 4 was like lukewarm, but it was like, okay, you did good enough to hold us over. But 76 came out, and it was like every Bethesda game has bugs, but we're talking the exact same bugs from Fallout 4 were being seen in Fallout 76. And I mean, the loot system was, terrible. They had to like mid-release week change how much you could carry because players are like, I can't do crap with this. I'm not progressing.
Oh, wow.
This system is terrible. And within, I believe, the first 2 weeks, the game went down $20, and perfect timing again for Greylord to pop that in and saying the game was now $18.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. Yeah.
So dang.
I mean, it goes to show that it's like I can't believe it was between this or between Battlefield 5 for me, and I still would put Battlefield 5 at least multiplayer works and is smooth.
As the worst game of the year?
Yeah, as how bad it is. Because Battlefield 5 had they had a lot of issues with it too. Launch, I mean, campaign crashes and multiplayer progression system not being what they shown, and this and that, and guns being imbalanced, and matches being not canceled, but like server crashes and everything. 76 to me was a bigger surprise because everything that was shown in E3 was like, it got me excited. I didn't really care a lot for the multiplayer stuff, but I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. And it wasn't bad. It was awful.
I mean, referencing what you mentioned earlier, I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that Fallout 76 will pull a No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Which is, eventually it'll release like another patch or two, and suddenly it'll actually be a really good game. That's what No Man's Sky did. For like a good year, it was just no one cared. But they kept working on it. They kept updating. And they're like, here's a big patch of all these changes made. And everyone's like, wow, this game's actually good now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fun. There's so much to do. There's so many things. Like I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they will do that. That they will
Right.
eventually go, we made these changes. Like, hey, we made you can play it offline single player. We added in all these other characters. We added in all these other elements. We fixed all these other things. Like, I'm hoping they'll do all those things and suddenly be like, all right, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
And-
so too. Just because like it would if we were able to choose any game, and I know I did No Man's Sky first, but like something that was just as equally disappointing as No Man's Sky, even though it was somewhat functional, was Mass Effect Andromeda. Because
Oh
that's
my
a big
God.
franchise.
Jesus,
Like,
that game was terrible
that-
bad.
Like I can't begin to like I loved Mass Effect 3. Even like the original ending wasn't my favorite, but even the new ending was fine. But like I loved everything about that game just because it always reminded you that you were like under a constant threat, and it was just it was a beautiful world. I love the gameplay, the story was awesome, and then I feel like they had a perfect segue into going to another galaxy, new characters, and I was like, okay, this could be good. And then it bombed so hard that the players that bought like the $99 editions and the 100 and whatever the super collector's editions that came with all the DLC that was supposed to be released for it, they canceled all development on it and stopped doing anything with the game, and they stopped doing bug fixes and everything, and they stopped it dead in its tracks.
Yeah.
So it literally killed that franchise until, who knows when that'll come back. But that's like right up there with Fallout, because I think Fallout can recover.
I was pissed with Andromeda when they announced it, only because they're like, oh, we're gonna do another group of people at the same time. Like, what game is doing that right now? Valkyrie Chronicles 4. It's doing the same thing, and I'm still enjoying the game, but I don't care about other people at the same time. I know the effect of that thing. I know the plot. I know the story. I know the beginning. I know the end. I don't care what Tim was doing at the same time as Shepard.
Right.
Like, I don't care. The gameplay might be great, but the story is just not going to interest me. I guarantee. You. And drama, that was the problem with the drama. Like, I want, Mass Effect 400 years later. I want them to have fixed all the jump ships. Now you can travel around the galaxy, and I want to be the explorer that's exploring all these places that they once had. Because now humans and stuff have been abandoned. All the races have been abandoned in different parts of the galaxy, commingling and stuff like that. Right. I want 400 years later, we finally fixed the jump ships or whatever, the intergalactic travel system, and I want to explore the world as it is later after all that.
Right.
Or like maybe you didn't fix it, maybe another group fixed it, and now they're trying to take over everything. So now you got to defend, and then now you can jump because they fix it, but they're invading.
And they had the perfect premise for that too, and I think that's what they were trying to sell it off too, because they were like, here's our new ship. You can go explore this. We're going to show gameplay of you, dropping onto these planets, and they're not randomly this and that. They're not, boom, you like, here you go explore, go ahead. You're discovering a new galaxy. These are new people. These are new players. It's still Mass Effect because we're still going to draw back onto what you know about our past and everything, but we're going to move on with new people. And it was just the dialogue was terrible.
Yeah.
It was funny to see all those the faces that weren't like animated right. Like, that was a good meme, but like it's so disheartening. And I found out that I guess I watched a video on YouTube from someone I just absolutely love, and he was like, during the development process, it was actually shipped out to like 5 separate development like people within BioWare. So it was like 5 different crews working on different hardware, trying to like handle scripts, and then like the writer left in the middle of the game as well. And I was just like, that thing was bound to fail during development and pre-production. So
yeah, and that's what happens when you take something like that and you throw it in another galaxy. I'm already disconnected. I don't care. It's not mine. Like, I have no ties. I have no.
So Mass Effect Andromeda gets our vote for worst game of 2017.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
facts.
And then
congratulations, you killed a franchise.
If you guys want to play out Fallout, if you want to play Fallout 76, I highly recommend for free Fallout Shelter. It's the better version. It is free. It has trophies. It's all you ever
came
want.
out when Fallout 4 did.
Yep.
What's that?
It also came out when Fallout 4 did. It's several
So
years.
it's been out for a while and has way more support than Fallout 76. So
Yeah.
name your Vault
Mm.
76 and you can play out Fallout 76 for free right now.
Probably feel better at the end of that game than you would even starting 76 too.
Yeah, we're sponsored. We're sponsored by them.
So, yeah, Fallout
Hashtag
Fallout
ad, by the
Shelter.
way.
I love Fallout Shelter. It is really a fun game. I'm not doing it just a joke. Like, it's great. Did everyone say their worst game? We have Fallout 76. We had Atlas. Wolves, what is yours?
I'm not gonna say Fallout 76 only because I'm still hoping it's gonna pull a.
I'm holding out hope, man.
I'm hoping I hope. So I think for me, a big game that I was looking forward to that I ended up being disappointed with was Jurassic World.
Jurassic
create-
World was a game?
You create the theme. Yeah, you create the
Was it
theme
Oh,
park.
the
yeah, like
park
the
one?
roller coaster
Evolution?
Park
tycoon
building?
one.
Yeah, like it was interesting, but like it gets to the point where like quickly becomes very monotonous.
Oh.
Mm.
Like, and you're
Yeah.
just like, I don't care.
The
I know
only
they have like different islands and stuff. Is
Yeah.
it just like feel like every island is you would
Every
think
island
would
you
be,
start again from the beginning.
you would think it would be like a new sort of like play style for each island, but it's sort of just like the same like process with this. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like you just like you island one that you control and you can hop to whenever you want has $20 million sitting in the bank account. But you're working on island 3 and you have $20.
Oh, jeez.
Oof.
You're like,
That's
but I
annoying.
like I'm rich over here. Why
Yeah.
can't I?
You're too proud to like use the money from over there. It's like I gotta start fresh, man.
So they force you to do like separate games per island kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Huh.
Like
Again,
you keep
if you
like
would
your,
like a
your
free
tech trees
version.
you keep. Like you keep your
Follow-
tech trees, but you still need to take the time to make an egg and develop any given dinosaur that you want. Like, you can't just be like, I have 7 over there. Can I just move one to this island? Like just so.
I get you.
I never played it. I did watch quite a few people play it. I feel like it was a momentary, really hot game, and then boom.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is why I was like kind of excited for it, but then yeah.
Yeah, I think I even saw Shroud playing it at one point too, and I was like,
He
oh,
loved
okay, that's
it.
interesting.
He was
Yeah.
really enjoying it, but then again, he only had like that 1 week. He
Yeah,
never
and then he
played
was
it
like,
again.
okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Back to slaying.
Yeah, it's easy to enjoy a game for like a day or 2 days or something.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
But then if you want to keep playing the game or try to beat the game, you're eventually just like,
Yeah.
That was a full $60 too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I think so.
Pretty
Same with
Oh, wow.
Atlas. So I think that's why a lot of people are pissed off about that too.
Mhm.
Probably with Wames as well. It's $60
Yeah.
for Atlas.
Actually,
Waves. So
Like
sad.
okay, so when it came
Yeah.
out, I think it's $30, but when it came out on sale.
Oh
It
jeez.
released on sale for like $5 off. I
Atlas?
was like,
Atlas
yeah,
then?
yeah,
Oh my
it came out on
gosh.
sale,
Oh my
Ooh.
god, that's not good.
and it
Just,
was the thing that made me mad the most was the fact that when Ark came out, it came out for $20, and this game is literally Ark, and it came out for $30, or I guess technically $25 when it was on sale, but that's still just not
Well, that's
right.
because you're paying for Ark $20 and you're buying the expansion Atlas for $5.
There you go. I just bought another
Regular
copy of Ark.
cracked Rubik's cube, man.
Yeah.
Like that was it. I was
There it is.
wondering.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my least favorite game of the year was the only Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Mm.
Oh.
That
okay.
game was such a disappointment. And it was one of those games where the more I thought about it, the more I hated it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Not
Mad
bad.
Salt. Mad Salt.
Salt.
I didn't play that one, so I really don't have any.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Um,
I've seen people play it. I've seen like maybe 3 people play it.
Yeah.
But-
This is gonna be all you, girl. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like especially because for me the hype was really big because I love the first 2, and this was it's the end of the story. So there's a
Mhm.
story in 1 and 2, and it continues, and then this is the last one. So I was like, let's go, let's be this badass chick and take
Yeah.
down people. And it had like a really interesting start where I was like, okay, is this where we're going? And then it just kind of did nothing, and like it was really glitchy if I remember correctly. Like you would climb and jump to like get to another ledge, but it would completely jump the other way and you would die. And the platinum was really annoying on the most difficult setting because you could only your only save points were at the fireplaces along the way. So if you died because of a glitch on a cliff, you went all the way back to your fireplace. And I was just like, are you kidding me? I was getting so upset. So it was awful. And I didn't think like the character, I don't know, I didn't like it at all. There was one scene that I really liked, and that was it.
So it was
and the
like
menu. I really enjoyed the menu. Wait, what?
It was like disappointing character development for you? Like you just
it was a disappointing story. It was a disappointing character. The graphics were amazing, and the gameplay was just like, okay. Like, the enemy wasn't that interesting. I was like, I don't really care about you and Paititi.
That's unfortunate.
Like main villain kind of thing you're talking about?
Yeah. Because it, like, comes to this whole big, Trinity is the main big bad. And it's like, this is what Trinity was all along. And you're like, but that doesn't make any sense.
It was the mayor the whole time.
Yeah. I was like,
Scooby-Doo style unveiling.
Now, how did you like the Tomb Raider movie?
Best film of 2018.
There it is. We'll get to it. We went past that, but...
That was another one that I was disappointed with. I'm like, come on!
Hot takes here, ladies and gentlemen. Infinity War puts on the back burner.
Tomb Raider overall did not have a good year. Poor Laura. Go back to England.
Poor Laura. So I'm kind of surprised because it seemed like, I watched a few reviewers and I watched you and I think I watched Outlaw as well play it. And it looked like at least the gameplay was fun, or at least it was good enough to kind of warrant, trying a couple of different things throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I like the stealth combat. I love stealth.
Yeah,
when
a game has a strong like emotional investment from like certain players, sometimes it's hard to live up to the hype. So Outlaw enjoys the series. Platinum enjoys the series. For Outlaw and a lot of other people, it's just a fun, good game. Not amazing, not bad, but for someone like Platinum who's like loves the series and like sets this bar that the other ones have lived up to or surpassed, this one just went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, we don't know how to end this, so we'll just write something.
Hey, I'm gonna kind of agree with Grayler a little bit here too. I always thought it was more the same because I think with maybe Tomb Raider they kind of have themselves in a. I'm gonna compare this to a weird thing with like Dragon Ball Z where they always have to have like that next level up, that next thing. Tomb Raider always has to be kind of the same thing, right? You can't really go outside of who Lara Croft is right now. You really can't. Like, you can't make Lara Croft, like, all of a sudden, like, a military shooter with an AK in her hand. Like, she's going to have a little bit of survival skills. She's going to have to, that's who she is. I don't know.
The next game, she's on another planet investigating aliens. Like, you can't just suddenly do a drastic thing.
I'd be so down for that than what we got in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'd
Why
be like,
we
all
got
right,
that movie?
Let's look at alien tombs. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's in like a not even a glass cell, but she's in like a cement cell. You really can't push this character.
Yeah.
Like,
that's fair.
You can twist maybe something. Maybe if someone really wants to go daring and like maybe like make her character darker.
Yeah.
Like
maybe like if something was like if her parents turn out to be like something, who knows?
Yeah, like something drastic happened.
Yeah, and like it turns her and it maybe taints her a little bit. Then okay, yeah, maybe you could do something there, but like. I guess question for everybody: do you think that she's hit her full potential?
No. Here's what you do: Tomb Raider, the next game. Her and Peter Quill hook up for a little bit.
Ooh.
And then like she's now somewhere else in the galaxy. There we go.
There it is.
I'd rather have a crossover with Nathan Drake since they're essentially the same game.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
So Lara Croft is an Avenger confirmed. Wow. All right.
She hooks up with Hawkeye.
Oh, man.
Like
I think honestly that game, because that game's been out, it's been so many iterations of the Tomb Raider.
Right.
I think that I think it's ran its course. I think it's, I don't know. Maybe they could, the creators could. maybe the creators could. Well, I don't know the story as much, so I don't know if there's still stuff they need to like close doors or like finishing business and stuff like that. But maybe they could take what they had and like maybe sort of make a new character out of that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe introduce it to the same world, but like a new character. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you kind of need to like James Bond it.
Yeah.
Where like Lara Croft, you just stop worrying about backstory. You stop worrying about too much continuity.
Yep.
You just put her in these really cool, interesting scenarios, and like they could be more mystical. She used to shoot dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like
there's already mystic stuff in the story, so you can kind of go like different ways.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like they kind of need that. I mean, a great example I feel like is the Assassin's Creed series. They're at like game 15,
Right?
and now all of a sudden the most recent one, I played it. It's a lot of fun. Like it's amazing. But like they can do that. Like just stop worrying about like too much continuity. Like I said, just James Bonder.
Yeah.
Just every now and then she'll look different. Doesn't matter. It's still Lara Croft.
Just do different adventures and different mysteries. Like
yeah, I was gonna say you could probably put her in like. Maybe if we put her in an environment that just was so enticing and just people wanted to sink their teeth in, what? Here's a random suggestion. I don't know how it's gonna hit, but what if it was like Laura?
I'm on an elevator.
Okay, hit me. She says, what if it was like Lara Croft meets Horizon Zero Dawn esque? Something along those lines, where it's like it's very explorative. There is a rich kind of backstory to where she's at, and you've got characters that you could connect with, talk to. You have a little bit more of a vast, maybe like an inventory system. Her character kind of is allowed to breathe a little bit more instead of being all stealth or a half stealth, half cold-blooded kind of thing.
Sure.
Just that. I don't know. I mean, that could be kind of interesting because if you put her in an environment that allows to tell a story, and you kind of maybe you take a little less precedent on the Lara Croft character, right? Like we have kind of like a basis understanding of who she is, and maybe we put her in a world where it's like the world tells this story more.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just being Lara Croft's adventure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you basically are looking for the Lara Croft version of Far Cry, Horizon Zero Dawn, the most recent Assassin's Creed. Witcher, like you just need her in a big world where she can explore. There's like you don't need continuity of any other stories. Man, that's basically what you're like.
Basically,
yeah.
Take the Lara Croft character, throw her in an open world, still give her stealth mechanics, still give her like these places that she can go. It can even just be like it doesn't even have to be a place that exists on an actual Earth. Like it's like, oh, I'm on this continent, like whatever.
Right? Because I don't know. I feel. Like the premise is kind of the same-ish in a sense where it's like you're Laura, go do this thing, go find this thing, kind of rinse and repeat. Like I kind of feel like the mystique of who's my dad or what's my dad doing or where has he been or this and that, or my parents had some secret, or I tripped over something and then I unlocked the secret hidden temple of Amazon Prime, and it's like,
excuse me, she's a smart individual.
Again, like they could Stargate her. She could be like exploring an ancient Egyptian tomb, find a gate to another planet where people, humans, are still there because whatever. Like you can do so many things. You don't need to explain. Again, she used to shoot dinosaurs.
Right.
You're running around, so there's a T-Rex, and she's backflipping, double pistoling it. Like no one cared. No one's like, that's just not real.
They made the reboot or whatever a lot more grounded. Which
and that was fine for that, and that trilogy's over. So now just do something.
Now do something else.
Yeah. Just wait a bit, come back, and be like, she's just on these crazy adventures.
Yeah,
right.
Like doing my biggest thing was Uncharted Lost Legacy came out, and Uncharted 4 came out last year, 2017. And they're very, very, very similar games, super similar.
That's working. GDQ, you're a quick reference to check.
I'm going over to Scattered. I see her. She's fine.
GDQ's, yep, it's up and running.
Okay.
Oh, we're back. We're back.
Hey, nothing happened.
I would like to say that I did nothing.
Coffee break. Sorry,
and that's the problem, Plat. You should have.
No, it was Twit. It wasn't me.
We had to finish at exactly 2, so we're cutting it close. So we just had to end it.
I guess we're restarting this entire podcast.
Hey, welcome to the.
This is gonna be get kind of an extra long episode though, since it is like recapping 2018. So
An entire year, yeah.
no worries, no worries. Blame Luna. Yeah, it was Luna. I'm pretty sure it was just Twitch. Like Twitch just died because nothing on OBS said anything. It was like, you're good.
Twitch
Keep
was like, you
doing
see
what
this
you're doing."
podcast?
Nah, I don't like that one.
Twitch was like, you see this podcast? F. See you later.
We have an echo. Oh wait, maybe not.
Maybe
Anyway.
not.
Only Chubs. Do you have us in 2 different tabs?
What's our next 2018?
So the next 2018 is a big one, and I really want to hear from chat on this one. This one's like the most important one. What is your game of the year?
Ooh, I love it. Okay.
Again, did we have to play this game, or could we have watched it?
I would
You know
prefer
what,
play.
Wames? You have to play this one.
Ah,
Like for me right now,
You
I
be a
feel-
gamer.
You gotta
I
be a
still haven't
gamer,
finished it.
Wames.
I still haven't finished it because I took a break for Smash.
Yeah.
And Smash I want to put there because I love Smash so much, but like Smash is entirely dependent on competitive play. Like it has a great single player story that
Yeah.
fills a lot of time, but it's just a time fill.
Yeah.
So I want to say it'll probably end up being God of War when I finish it, but for right now, of games that I've completed, Spider-Man.
Nice.
I loved every damn second of that game. But I feel like God of War will probably end up beating by the time I finish it because the story just feels so strong as I'm going. But I love Spider-Man.
Spidey was a good one. Spidey was a really good one.
yeah. Again, this was one I haven't beat, but I played a little bit of it, so technically I can have some say in this. But I did really enjoy I felt like that was a game that I could probably just play it. Like even if I beat the game and there was like nothing new to do, I could just like jump in and do some missions and like beat up some bad guys. Like I would have fun doing that because the gameplay was just, it just felt fluid. You could just go around and do whatever you want to do. So I feel like that's a game that I would just play. Not for the story was good and I love the story, but I would still play it past the story just because it was a fun game.
The Spidey.
What game?
Spider-Man, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But if we're talking
okay.
my favorite game of the year, I would have to say Subnautica.
But
I
we're
love
Oh!
that game so much. It was the first game I've streamed this year. It was the first game that got me streaming, and I finished it. I wouldn't have finished it if I didn't stream it because I'm afraid of the ocean, like deathly afraid. But it was probably my game of the year for me. It was so much fun. I loved the survival. I loved the sort of not like you have to kill everything to survive. It's sort of you have to outsmart like the wildlife or like use utility tools to like sort of incapacitate them and just sort of work your way around it instead of fighting your way through everything. So
I watched the Outlaw play a little bit of that, and he's the reason why I loved
yeah,
it
I
too.
played it. I never beat it, but I played it. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
My
excited
problem
for
with games like that is I get too distracted with wanting to do silly stuff. Like,
Mhm.
I want to build a base over here. I want to do this. I want to do that. Then I spend like 30 hours doing that. And by that point, I've kind of worn out on the game, but I've only done like 10% of the plot.
Mm.
Right.
But, like, I got
Nice.
my time and money's worth. Like, I'm happy with the game, but I
Yeah.
never actually experienced the story because I'm like, wee.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I could go back and I could like it's weird because I'm afraid of the ocean, but I find that game very calming and it's like a chill game sort of
Even though
feel.
it's survival.
I guess
Mm-hmm.
when you stay in the shallow areas, of course. If I could
Right.
just like stay in the shallows and just like have nice little fish, no giant like leviathans trying to kill me, just chill up there. But I'm excited for the new expansion that they have. Oh my god! And there we go.
We
I'm
got
done
a
talking
kitty.
about that because there's a cat on the screen.
Guys, this is kitty videos.
So, like, this is what she does. She sits on her haunches as I hold her.
Aww.
Aww.
It's so cute.
She loves it, dude. She's like, all right, we're good. Staying. All right, I'm out.
Richie,
Leave me
what's your
alone.
game of the year?
All right, so everybody's wrong. It is by far easily hand over hand, bike over bike, God of War. Easy peasy. Not even a shot in a snowball's chance in hell that it's anything other than God.
I like how you're like
I
everyone's
mean-
wrong, where
I
even
mean-
I was like, I feel like it's gonna be this.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You are at a 7, sir. I need you at an 11. I need my energy. this one. Okay, easy money on this one. It's God of War, 100%.
Yeah, I just
No,
haven't finished it yet. Like,
I
I feel
think-
like it's gonna be, but I just.
Right. No, I know. I know Spider-Man was a big one too, and I'm so happy that Spider-Man finally got like another incredible polished melee game on the
There was
PlayStation.
finally a sequel to Spider-Man 2.
Right, and so I have that PlayStation. I have that Spider-Man game on the PlayStation that I played it on years ago, the one that everyone's compared about. But God of War gets my vote 'cause it's the same thing as A Quiet Place. It completely took me out of the typical shell that I keep myself in with games with what I like, and it just blew out any expectation I had of how much fun I thought I was gonna have with it. Like there were a couple things that I saw, I was like, okay, that could be cool, but I was on the hate train for rematch for like bringing back God of War because the first thing I saw from it was God of War is coming back and it's gonna be Norse mythology. And I'm like, how are you going to do that? And just like, how are you going to segue this? Like, are you that desperate for another game to come? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what are you trying to do here? And so at first, and not only that, but I don't play anything fighting games. I don't enjoy kind of the same sort of repetitive kind of motion, kind of this and that. And I played the first 3 God of Wars because it was like, okay, I was just sitting out, hanging out with my friends. You know, I had a PlayStation 3 and they did, and so we were just chilling, high school, whatever. It was one thing that we could all kind of sit and watch. But I did not expect to, because I'm jaded because of games like Fallout and 76 and No Man's Sky and Atlas and all these things that are coming out, and like all the beta and alpha games that come out for $20. We're gonna get it to beta and full release and then never do
Right.
it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I looked at this and I was like, I saw this beautiful premise, and I love Norse mythology, and so I was like, you are tapping into something that I really enjoy here, and I'm scared that you're doing this to make the money because
Yeah.
one of the things that were reported, you were only going to travel to a couple realms, but there are 7 realms, and I was like, there it is. There's the DLC you're gonna milk me for. There you go.
Right.
Here's a middle finger to you, bud. Have a good day.
Right.
But no, like the game was everything that it needed to be, and that is my story, bread and butter. When someone says, "What do you look for in a game, in a character series, in an arc series?" Because you can compare Kratos to like Logan in the sense that we had the days of his glory, right? We had
Mhm.
the badass, gunslinger. Logan had his claws. He was going after chicks, this and that. All of a sudden, you see the post-hero age of the aftermath of everything that character was, right? And everything that made him popular. And boom, you see who they kind of really are with nothing surrounding him. No, there's no marshmallow around this graham cracker, right? It's all solid. So it's like that game took me by such surprise when I saw this dynamic because I knew that I knew the mom right away, right in the beginning. The mom's gone, right? And part of me when I first heard that, I was like, man, you're just like you are doing whatever you can to just make this segue into an entirely different mythology better, right? Like
Right.
you're covering it up. You're just kind of like, just play the game, just kind of do it. And I was like, okay, all right,
Okay.
I'll bite this, whatever.
I'll
Let's
play
just
your game.
continue. Yeah, but it was so it let itself breathe, like
So, you want to
legitimately.
hear a fun story about how dumb I am?
Go ahead.
Yes.
So,
Love dumb
real
stories.
real quick about God of War, and then we can get other people's suggestions.
Mhm.
So, I'm the point where this culminates. I'm level 5 in the game, so I'm far into the game. Every
Mhm.
chance I've got, I've explored everything I can explore. So like I'd go around that like little water area, I'd do a full circle, then I'd do plot. Then you get a new thing, I'd do a full circle, then you get
Yep.
plot. So like I
Mhm.
kept doing that. So I've played a lot, I've explored a lot, and it's at the point like I don't want to say anything too spoiler for people that haven't played it, but like this will make sense to people who have played it. It's at the point where you fight the 2 brothers,
Mm-hmm.
like the first fight with the 2 brothers. So it's far into the
Right.
game. And then I learned something. I learned I'm an idiot.
Mhm.
So as you level up, you have all of the abilities.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
And I had mentioned this before, I couldn't get any, I didn't know what was going on. Now, when you look at the abilities, at the bottom it says 200 vitality, and you get like a bonus with ability. But I didn't like read the words. I just saw a requirement and moved on. So I literally had upgraded not a single ability in the entire game. I'm level 5 doing these fights. And I'm on like one step up in hard. I'm not on the hardest, but like I'm one step
Right.
up like normal hard, like stupid hard. Like I'm on hard. And like
Mhm.
these fights are challenging and hard, and I'm like, Jesus, when do I get these abilities? How much of this game is left? And then I'm like, I'm staring at these things. I'm like, how do I? Then I read, bonus damage if you have 200 vitality, because I have like 12. I'm like, bonus? Because like you don't just hit, you don't like just hit X to buy. You gotta hold it. So all of a sudden I hold it, and all of a sudden I
Oh,
realize
boy.
I can now buy every ability because I have like a million experience sitting over here. So I went from only having generic attacks to having every ability in the game.
Right.
Oh my
Which is
God.
what one of the things that sold me in the game that I didn't think I was gonna like, because I wasn't like, because I think in the old God of Wars you would be able to purchase new abilities, but that was it. There was no tier system, and there was
Yeah.
no boy next to you that you could also
Boy.
level up and you can also get everything.
Boy.
Yeah. And so to me that was like, that's what sold the game for me, right? Because the gameplay was great and that's what you're going to spend the most time on, but when the story really just like, it was like, here's the page for you, you go ahead and read it at your pace, here's the next one for you, here's, you're not being thrown into this mythology as if you know everything and that you
Right.
understand everything. It's like, here you go.
And you could
This is-
ignore the entire level progression if you want. Still get really far in the game.
there you go.
It's
So
just much harder.
every category that game, like just any game needs to hit on, gameplay, story, characters, it
Yeah.
just it did everything. And then plus, I'm not the smartest tool in the sandwich shed, but like, it did puzzles well enough for me to be intrigued by them and to want to continue and to learn how to do them
Yeah.
correctly, right?
Mhm.
So I was sitting there, had fun looking for the chests and the runes that you had to break open to get everything, and I was like, this is this is fun. I want to do everything. This game makes me want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
appreciate everything it gave me. So that easily gets my game of the year, like
All right.
with hand over head, easy peasy.
All right, Platinum.
God of War.
There we have it.
All right.
Next category.
Copy and paste. There it is.
Copy, paste, ditto, same,
Yeah.
same. It was close with Spider-Man, but I feel overall God of War is better. So it's just, yeah,
I think so.
just everything's better. So anyway,
Perfect.
I'm gonna skip a few categories, guys.
Yes, Mom.
I mean, Dad
Um,
didn't have to know that. Now you spoiled it for them. Now they know there's more there.
there's
They're-
more
they're
categories
curious, what
that you
could've
guys
been?
don't even know about.
You can't even comprehend.
Just
what
go
these
ahead and
categories
subscribe
are
to our
about.
Patreon.
I
$100
got
to
an
get
extra,
the
like, 5
behind the
minutes of
scenes extra categories.
Yeah.
Yep, Patreon is /Grey Wolves Gaming.
That's 100% true, by the way. He does have a Patreon, and the goals are so good. So highly do check it out. Actually,
It's great, dude.
let's see here. So so this category is called the feels because it made me laugh. So this is the moment where the feels were real. And this could be an IRL moment or in like a video game or movie or whatever you want. So in 2018, what was the most feely?
I got married twice.
I mean, I guess that's
That is true.
emotional.
That's I mean, I feel like I can't think of anything, and I feel like I shouldn't think of anything that tops that.
Is she
Right.
is she watching? Are you okay? Blink twice if we need to save you.
Also, I would like, was it the like frustration of planning 2 weddings, or was it actually getting married twice?
Actually getting married.
Okay. Which wedding was better?
I enjoyed the U.S. wedding more because I knew everyone there,
Right.
but the production and elegance of the second wedding was amazing. Like they're two different things. It was small family, friends, and I loved the wedding in the U.S., but the wedding in Turkey was just so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a few pictures and it was beautiful.
So pretty.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, that's mine. Short and simple.
Mine's pretty short and simple too, so I'll go. Mine was playing Spider-Man. there was some
Oh, yeah.
feels there. I don't know, it was just the day, it was weird, things happened, because it's like, and I feel bad saying that because God of War is still my game of the year. And there was definitely feels over there too, but for whatever reason, Spider-Man hit me in a way that was so unexpected.
Yeah.
So that was.
I feel like God of War's like feels moment, kind of like with the mom leaving, kind of like they swept that one under the rug a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think you're in the right. They hit you with a hammer.
Well, the
on
whole
Spider-Man.
game is like, like the whole game is very emotional. I feel so. Like toward the characters, like everything they did, I was just like, "Why are you doing that, Kratos? Just be a father to him."
Yeah.
So it's hard to like pinpoint like one moment because the whole game is that way. But yeah, so Spider-Man. If you've played Spider-Man, you know. If you haven't, I'm not gonna say, but Spider-Man.
Easily for me, it was TwitchCon. I mean, I met a bunch of people this year, like traveling to Wisconsin. I met Outlaw and I met Dragon, and that was special. And meeting Plat, Mike, there was this weird blonde in our room too. I don't know what her name was. I think it was like Serena. I don't know. She was okay, but
Did you say Sabrina?
the teenage something. I don't know. Whatever her name was.
The teenage witch. There she is. She was there.
Oh my god.
But no, this year was it was definitely TwitchCon. I didn't get like a post TwitchCon depression. It was just like I felt like I accomplished something huge when I met Plat and I met Tim, because it was just that was it. Like that was like, okay, that was all I was focused on up until that point. And when that happened, I was like, okay, I can just kind of cross that off my list, and it was good. So I think there was no like one like super sad like Spider-Man moment. It was more like like I finally I finally got to do these two things, and that was it for me. TwitchCon in general, I guess, is my answer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Wames.
Well, I have a bunch of those moments last year.
Everybody
So
gets one.
You get one Waves.
Okay, if we're gonna have to choose one, it's close between TwitchCon, but I would have to say the charity stream of last year was probably the biggest feels. I've never cried so much on stream, or like in general. I started the stream off crying because I was finally doing this, and oh my god, that is probably a moment that I will never forget. That is probably, I tell myself that is probably the greatest achievement I've ever done in my life, is that charity stream. So if we're talking feels, that would be the top feels moment for me. Is that entire day.
It has all the requirements. That stream.
It has.
It has everything. Yeah.
If people didn't see Wame's charity stream, it was amazing. He had googly eyes on his face. He was wearing a banana suit. And I remember specifically his dad like donated a whole bunch of money, and he just like broke down.
Yeah.
That was an awesome day.
Half the googly eyes fell off because of the tears. Just got rid of all the adhesive on all the googly eyes. So some of them, I woke up the next day and there was a googly eye that went off my face and stuck onto my pants. So there was like a googly eye on my pants. I was like, well, okay. But yeah.
That was really awesome to see too, man. I was hoping you hit.
Hoping what? Sorry,
did you hit the goal? You set for the stream, and it was just awesome to see everyone come together, dude. That was probably you gotta be super proud of that, no matter what.
I can't. I every day I feel like I don't deserve all you guys' like support and love, but I super do appreciate it. It's been an honor and a pleasure to like get to know everyone here. So.
Right there. That was an amazing moment of 2018. Also, Valhalla's was fun.
By the way.
So this is a 2018 game, but if you want to talk about a game that gave me a lot of feels, was the second Infamous game.
Really?
Really?
Yes, because there's a moment if you go the evil path. There's gonna be spoilers, but this game's old, so screw you. So there's a point if you go the evil path, your friend Zeke, who's with you in the first game, is with you in the second game. And there's a point where if you're going the evil path, Zeke tries to stop you by pulling out a gun. Ooh. And you need to zap Zeke. But you don't immediately kill Zeke because you're trying to zap Zeke to stop Zeke, but Zeke keeps trying to get up and reach for the gun again. And this is a trick. You need to hit the trigger to zap Zeke. If you don't, he kills you and you have to start over. So like you're holding the controller, like, no, see, stop, zap, no, damn it, like, oh, it was brutal. Oh, that hit me.
wow.
That was so, cause I'm leaping off building, killing like 20, 30 people at a time, not giving a crap. But I got to zap just Zeke.
Mhm.
Nah, that was hard. That was some feels
Yikes.
in that game.
Yeah, I feel like especially when you're it's not like a cinematic playing out. You're the person that's
Yeah.
forcing your character to like zap him every time it goes for the gun. I could just imagine just like, no, please, Zeke,
Oh
just
Because
my
Zeke was
stay
like the
down, please, I don't
lighthearted,
wanna do
fun,
this."
like carefree guy. He's like your best bud. You're like, yeah,
Mhm.
Zeke's with me.
Oh
Zeke's
my
got my
gosh.
back.
That's crazy.
Not like this.
So
I
we
didn't know
talked
that.
about a few of our like favorite games of the year or and such like that, but there's only one answer. What's the worst competitive game of 2018?
Oh, all right.
There's one
Let's
answer. What's the one
open-
answer?
The
open
one
his eyes.
answer
Strike.
is PC Blackout.
Oh, okay.
That
Ooh.
was mine.
And there's two ansers.
What? No, there's not.
Yeah, there
Opens
is.
no,
the scroll of battle royale games that came out this year.
Mhm.
No, because Blackout on PS4 is fine.
Mhm.
Haven't they fixed
PS4 is
PC
fine,
Blackout?
wait.
Like, haven't they done patches and stuff like that? Am I wrong?
What's that? What was your question?
Haven't they done a bunch of patches for PC Blackout? Isn't it like better now?
I don't think so. I haven't tried it in a while though, to be honest. I'll be fair and say I haven't tried it in a while.
Neither have I.
I mean,
Yeah,
technically PUBG came out this year. That's what Pat McTizzle said in the chat.
True.
That's true.
Well, so I was thinking that would if we like anticipated games of next year. I was gonna be like, Fortnite. That might come out next year.
That's a good one.
Really?
Yeah, isn't it
Still in
still
beta.
technically? Yeah.
You know, all
What
right.
was
I
your
think
other
I get.
answer, Richie?
At what point does it
I
just
gotta,
like?
I gotta counterpoint you with this one, Platin. I think you're gonna have. You might actually see my side on this. So, do you remember during the summer when there was a tournament for PUBG? And okay, so just to put this in perspective and paint the entire picture here, this was what? This was probably like a $300,000 tournament.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had you had Shroud, Ninja, Doctor, Summit. You had everybody over in Germany playing PUBG for like one of their biggest audiences ever.
Okay.
And Shroud's team
Oh, you're talking about the
behind
grenade?
this building. Yes.
yeah.
When he so that had to have been the most embarrassing moment for any BR on any
Oh.
stage in history. The fact that Shroud threw that grenade with the aimbot precision that he has. Okay, and to everyone who didn't see this, there are two players on a roof,
I think we're
and
getting
one
the
is
video
one
from
is
chat.
downed. One
Yeah, I
is
got
down.
it. I got the clip.
You got the clip? Okay.
Yep,
Check-
posted in chat. This
Post
clip.
that clip in chat. There's one player downed. One player's rezzing his teammate, right? Shroud's over in a corner, looking at scoping him down, and he throws this grenade. And no joke, there's the clip. The grenade lands at these two players' feet. It blows up right in front of them, and that should kill them both. But they both survive.
Yep.
Like done deal. Like that game. Blackout just doesn't run well, and I'm sad. And there's no pro league for it, and whatever. I spent $60 on it, and now I'm gonna cry about it later. But PUBG had at that point, what was it like?
It was the number one at that point.
Yeah,
It had
I mean,
most
it was
concurrent
like-
players on
it was
Steam.
that
Like
one
it
or
was
Fortnite.
the big dog.
It
Yeah.
was like 100. We had like at the lowest peak times, it had 250,000 people playing that game, like at the low. So you're telling me after they got the contract with Xbox, they put on this $300,000 tournament that you can't get that grenade to kill those? Like it's just it was such an embarrassment to see and to watch.
Small indie company.
It
Yeah,
was,
because if you watch it, you could even hear the crowd. Like when it was watching Shroud and he throws, you hear the crowd.
like the announcers.
Whoa.
Yeah, the announcers
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, what do we do?
The
How do we?"
announcers are the best part of that clip because he's like, I don't know what to say about that. They should have
Yeah,
died. Like,
I want to just swap to the camera with them like casting like
Like
Yeah.
we're getting paid for this, bro. Just keep talking. It's fine.
yeah, because you can hear them. They're like, oh, Stroud with the grenade, and why are they? Okay, all right,
oh.
they're alive. I don't know what to say. Like,
And they somehow plot armor survives. It's just
plot armor. There
I-
it is.
I don't. I see that to me. That was the biggest
New
disappointment
equipment.
because I loved H1Z1. I was I got into the PUBG a little bit, and so I was excited to see some of the people that I watch on this stage play this game and to do this, and
Right.
just how cool would it have been to see that actually kill both of them? Like it should have killed both of them, and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
Shroud, and we all know how Shroud is, aim god, but it's just like to me that was the most incredibly embarrassing moment, and yeah, it's like a AAA developer like Treyarch shouldn't have Blackout run like a potato in a freaking washing machine. But you know what? Honestly, it's just like I don't know. I'm just like what how do you do this? How do you fail at that level? You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
just
No, I agree. I
that's
mean, I
my
knew what
top.
you were talking about. You're like, it's term. I was like, oh, the grenade. Like,
Yeah, same.
no.
Like right when he was talking to I was like, wait, is this gonna be about the
Mhm.
grenade?
Like if we're talking about expectations, yeah, Blackout on PC should have been better, and I would give it to that. But like embarrassing moment overall, and just like the most disappointing, yeah, it's PUBG because that thing that even today, like those numbers they still have like 100,000 concurrent, which is great for all the competition that's in BR now. So like it really had something there, and it had the potential. And that grenade going off and being a dud is just a perfect little
Yeah.
segue into how PUBG is. That's it, done. So, yeah, that to me, that's the most disappointing for sure.
That makes sense.
Do we have any more contenders then? We got Blackout, PUBG, and Fallout 76 is technically multiplayer.
Yeah, Conan, I guess, makes a good point too. It's just that's another one. Another AAA game came out, supposed to, be the savior of all the early access woes people are going through, and
Yeah, especially when you have a microtransaction store. Just having those, you could purchase in-game currency and look at all these cosmetics. Like,
yep.
yeah, it always leaves a bad taste in my mouth when they do that. Which is why God of War or like, was it Odyssey? Didn't they have microtransactions in that game as well?
God of War, no, but
No, not God of
Odyssey.
War. Odyssey. Assassin's Creed. Odyssey.
Don't? Yeah.
Yes, they did. It was there was experience boost.
That is something that should never happen for a single player game, at least. Like, if you're gonna make cosmetics, make them so we can get them. We paid money for this already. Usually, you would have these like purchases available for games that are free to play and stuff like that, and it'd be like you can buy these cool costumes if you would like. But our game is free. If you have a game that we have to pay full price $60 for, and you see like, oh yeah, by the way, if you want to like buy some XP boosts, make your character level up faster, you could do that too. But like, I'm gonna play this game only once. Like, why are you making me pay more money for just don't put them in, basically.
Like I'm against most microtransactions. That one doesn't bother me as much because it just allows people to level up faster if they want. Like that one doesn't really bother me. I think one of the biggest offenders that I can remember, like towards the beginning of all this, was one of the Batman games, Arkham City or Arkham Knight, whatever. And you could buy a DLC to play as Robin or Nightwing. I forget which one. I think it was Nightwing. But you could buy a DLC to get it. And people bought the DLC, and it was like a 20 kilobyte download. And people were like, huh? And then people realized it was already on the disc.
Oh, they just had to pay to unlock kind of thing?
Yeah. So it was this DLC. Wow. It wasn't something that got developed later.
Right.
It was already on the item that you owned in your like PlayStation, in your PC or whatever. You physically owned this thing. It was there. We had to pay more money for them to enable it.
I think Graylor kind of hits the nail on the head with exactly what too. I feel like there's a need for games to kind of be bigger, better, crisper, more polished, developed, all this stuff in comparison to games like maybe 10 years ago. Like I know like where technology is getting better, but that also means you got to pay the people to learn that new technology and how increasingly like quick it's coming. So I understand that they're like, okay, $60, but we're gonna have a little like you're gonna be able to buy skins, to support this and that. But it's like it leaves a bad taste in most people's mouths when it's like, let's give like a great example was Blackout, like running on PC, it's not running well. It didn't run well for months, and you were paying $60 for a game that's all multiplayer and including microtransactions, and it's not getting better. It's like I think it all comes to trust. It's like, do you trust that what makes sense is that when you pay money for the game, it pays also for the future development of the game and listening to community feedback for the game, or is it just going to the pockets? You know what I mean? Can you really trust these specific people to do what they're telling you that they're going to do? So I agree with Greylord with, games are going to be getting, look at Red Dead Redemption. I bet you that wasn't the same as like GTA 5. I bet there was a whole new influx of costs here and there. And I get that $60 is still kind of steep, but I think it all the issue on top, like the whole entire foundation comes down to trust. Because if it came out this year saying, okay, games are $70 now, sorry, that's the way it is, but you were able to trust whatever company that's going to give you, a product. Let's say like Red Dead came out this year, but they're saying, sorry, we're marking it up $10. It's like, okay, I don't mind that extra $10 because I know I'm going to get to enjoy. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say you enjoy it, but at least it's quality to a point, right? Maybe you don't like the story, maybe you don't like the characters, fine, but it's quality to the point where it's gonna run, it's gonna do what it's advertised to do, right? So I think that's the overarching point, is that where's the trust? Because I think Atlas and Fallout and all those kind of things, that really hurts the minds of people. And $60 used to be like, okay, yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, no questions asked, I'm going to do this. But now it's like, do I really, really want to do this? Do I really want to spend this $60? I should wait.
I think it's a false narrative that you have to do these big, bold, dynamic games. Like, you can and succeed, but like in one of the straw polls, like Celeste, that's not a big, dynamic, graphically intensive game. It's a great game. Like, I mean, freaking Fortnite was free to play and it's making all this money. Like, you can do these things that aren't the top notch, high end graphical things and make a lot of money.
Mhm.
It's just, I don't mind a lot of microtransactions. If I can play, if you want to add microtransactions into a game, if I don't need it to play the game, if I don't need it to beat the game, if I can still do all the stuff I love and play the game, beat the game, yeah, add a billion microtransactions. If people want to pay the money to do those things, that's their choice. That's a decision. That's not a requirement. So I don't give a crap. If people want to add microtransactions so a company can make more money because people want to pay for them, do it. Have at it. I don't give a crap. If it's pay to win, I object.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's pay for bonus, yeah, go ahead. I don't give a shit.
So going for like Sea of Thieves is a game where it is $60, but nothing in that game is microtransactions. Again, it's just you get the gold like from doing missions, and then you buy your cosmetics. You don't have to pay money for anything. All of the updates and their DLC, quote unquote, are free. It's just you pay that $160 cost, and then everything that comes out for that game will be yours for free. You don't have to pay any more for that. I think I like that. I really do, because it's just it really feels like they know what they're sort of like releasing. And I think Sea of Thieves should have maybe waited a year and got all these sort of updates like packed into the game itself. Like, release the game this year with all the content that they've made over the past year. And if they released that and all the hype that was around it at the start, if they had all the content, I think the game would I think be in a better state in the long run. I
Probably, but they might not have had the funding to last.
Yeah.
Sometimes a company needs to release a game to get that influx of funding from people buying it so they can do those patches. And as long as they're doing these patches and it's like free of cost, so they do these updates free of cost, I have no objection. Like Witcher 3 is a great example. They did a lot of updates, a lot of these new features that came in like as the year went on when it came out. It was all just included. Like, no, you bought the game. We've made all these other changes, these new outfits, these new things. You just get it. You bought the game, you get these. So like I can understand sometimes if a game releases and it's good, but they release stuff to make it great. It's when it releases and it's shit that I'm like, now you, like, because at a certain point you made design choices that you were just wrong on, and the game's bad. As opposed to you made a good game, but it's not complete yet, and you give me stuff later to complete it. I can be okay with that. I would like it if they waited, but sometimes they just don't have the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Like, if you have
understand
a
that
good,
too.
yeah, if you have a good baseline, it's still a good game. You just give me more stuff later.
Yeah, I think a little bit of it too. I think some of the reason why some of that microtransaction stuff comes in there too is that people will bank off of peer pressure, right? And Fortnite's a perfect example of that too, where I mean, you've got streamers who'll kill players without a skin, and we'll call them no skins, right? And make them feel like you're lesser, you're worse of a player because you don't have a skin or something like that. And you want to kind of keep up with the, I guess the sayings, keep up with the Joneses, right? You want to kind of have the cool things with the kids, and
Mm.
you want to be a part of it. So, is it the fault of the developers that they are putting something in the system they know will be used for their game or for their gain? Maybe, but it's also the fault of the person purchasing that and supporting the whole thing too. So I kind of lie 50-50. I think a great example of one that it was just completely unnecessary and doesn't make any sense was the second Shadow of War. Right? It was the Lord of the Rings
Lord of the
where it
Rings
was
game.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
second one, because the first one had no microtransactions, was one of the best games of whenever it came out. Hugely coveted, loved, and then they're like, okay, second one, boom, now you can pay for, I believe it was experience or it was something, just unnecessary things that people wanted world building. They wanted to add upon the mechanics of the game that was in the first one, and then it was like, wait, why are these microtransactions here? This wasn't necessary in the first one. It's not really adding to my experience. And to me, does it really make a lot of sense to add experience bonuses like in Assassin's Creed Odyssey for the game to be played quicker? Because I feel like that's more lazy than anything. Because it's like it's
But that's a player choice. I don't.
that's
If a game gives a feature that you don't have to use and a player can choose to, I don't dock a game company for adding something that is optional if I don't like the option, because it's an option. I don't care. But
right.
you're docking a company for giving options to more people. Some people who might not be good at a game who need that extra experience, and if they want to pay for it, they can, but they don't have to.
The
Like it's
narrative has changed from I'm not good at the game for an extra 10% experience versus I'm not good at the game. Let me learn the mechanics. Let me get better. So
yeah, but
that's
that's your
where,
choice to learn or choice to pay. Some
yeah,
people will choose, I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna get better. Some people are like, I don't have the time, I don't care. I would rather pay $10 to get that experience than to spend 10 of my hours
I
to
think
get that experience.
where I lie with that is that I think that it used to be that was the only way you were able to get everything out. You were able to soak up everything out of the game was by learning that learn curve and then feeling better for having learned how to play the game and how to be better at it instead of being like, okay,
But
I'm just
that's
Right.
your
gonna
experience.
But
You
I,
enjoy
right.
that. Not everyone does. It's an
I
option.
think if the game experience is slow and to the point where you would consider buying that like XP boost, I think that's the fault of the developers making the games like a little bit slower paced. Because he said like, would you rather pay $10 to get this XP boost or spend 10 of your hours? I know it's not like exactly that, but
Right.
I'm just saying like if that is a problem like that, they're sort of drawing it out for you to make sure you're playing longer to grind out those experiences so you can move on with the story. I think that the flow of the story is kind of jeopardized when you have to
But you
grind
don't
out.
have to. I never felt the need to at all. I've usually felt on par, sometimes higher level than my areas. Like it's like I said, it's an option. It's not required to beat the game. Like we would need to know what percentage of people actually bought that. Did 5%? Did 10%? I mean, if
I,
90% of the people bought it, then yeah, you can possibly argue there might be a fundamental problem with the game if so many people feel the need they have to.
I think
But if it's
what
like 10%, then who cares? It's an option. Like I don't.
I think here's the issue with something like that, and it's makes sense of it. It's like microtransactions, they're not adding sprinkles to a cake that you can already eat. It's like adding the whipped cream to it. It's like, okay, it's an essential part of the game that we're just kind of bypassing because okay, yes, you could play Assassin's Creed without any of the 10% bonuses. You can you can you can pay everything. You don't have to touch any microtransaction. But, why is that even there if the progression system is there for you to get better and to play and to learn the mechanics? Like why like the base game, it's not adding on top of the base game. It's taking a portion of the game that you already get and just kind of like making it easier. You know what I mean? It's not like getting an extra bag of chips. It's like making that bag of chips a little bit pretty. I don't know. I'm trying to.
But
think
it's
of
still an
a metaphor,
option.
but
Like, you don't have to take it. Like, that's my point. Like, why are you mad at a company for giving players a choice that they can choose to do this thing? It's not required. It's not pay to win. It's an option. It's like if you go to a restaurant and you get chicken and they give you barbecue sauce, but they also have honey mustard. You're like, ew, honey mustard. Why the fuck would you give me that option? I like barbecue sauce. That's dumb. Who needs honey mustard to make it good when you have barbecue sauce? That's the argument you're making. It's just an option. Some people are like, ooh, no, I want that.
because I
Yeah.
don't really understand.
You don't want to, you don't need to. If it's not pay to win, I don't give a crap that it's a microtransaction.
Yeah, I agree.
If you
I
pay that
really
$10
don't care.
and like it makes your character better than my character, like on an online thing or something like that, I'm mad. If it's a solo
Right.
play and you have this feature and someone can buy it and do this thing, you don't need it to play the game, beat the game. Sure, whatever.
I just don't think it makes much sense because there's no like you're competing with yourself at that point. You're not like Assassin's Creed is a single player game and you're in that world and you can still achieve the same level the same way without those microtransactions. And I know I understand. I totally understand what you're saying too. I'm not saying you're wrong and that's not how it should be. But it's like to me, it's like why are those even there if like I'm not going to.
Because they're there for the people who choose to do it, and
Yeah.
they can get money and make a better game in the future.
They don't
Well,
put it there
they're-
for you.
They
Clearly.
put it there
They
for
put
the
it there
people who are actually going to buy it.
I feel like we could talk about this all day.
We probably could.
Potentially.
I don't know if I trust them to be like, yeah, we're
Let's
gonna
table
use
this.
we're gonna use these to make the game better and do what you want kind of thing. I don't know. I kind of feel like I like just letting the game give me what it gives me. And so I know that's there for people who like it.
Yeah.
But to me it's
me
like
too.
it doesn't make sense in a sense that it's like, why would I want to speed up the game? You know, I paid $60 for it. I'll play it out the way that it was made, you know, bread and butter.
And that is your right, Richie.
Yeah,
But-
and
I think
yeah.
both sides, I mean, it makes sense, both sides. You know, why not?
What
All
were you
right,
gonna
what's
say,
the
Rex?
next topic?
Yeah.
Platinum, hit us up.
I was gonna say, yeah, we could
Sorry.
talk about this all day.
We could. I had no idea people felt so passionate about microtransactions. This will definitely be a topic.
It just
next,
leaves a bad
next
taste
podcast.
in my mouth. It is.
Next
Yeah.
podcast. So let's wrap it up. So obviously, 2018 is over. It is now 2019.
Oh.
So last question for the panel and the chat. What is your number one, like, resolution, your number one goal that you want to get done in 2019? Priority number one.
Also,
Mike-
real quick, take your chance to vote on all the polls because after we talk about this, I'll be going across the winners. So
Yeah,
technically, you
well-
can look at them yourselves, but that's boring. We got to announce it.
Yes.
Chat's over
You
there.
don't know what the final result is.
If I'm gonna like my 2019 top goal is so general, and it's just I want to seize 2019, and I don't want to sort of like just go through the motions. I want to be actively doing stuff. So I guess that means like I have a bunch of goals, and that's why I said it was really general. But I want to you know, last year was a good example of trying something new. I started streaming, and all through that I met so many people, but I feel like I didn't really seize like 20. I don't know how to explain it, but I have a lot of ambitions this year, and I don't want to say what they are because they might change. But
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this year. Is all I gotta say.
Is one of them coming back to streaming waves?
Perhaps.
Oh my gosh! Like,
Maybe,
when
that
is
might
that
be a thing.
happening?
Let's do a tangent over there. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back into streaming, and the 26th is actually going to be my 1-year stream anniversary as well.
Ooh.
So it's absolutely crazy that it's actually been a year. It's insane to think about it, how fast the year's been. But yeah, I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to get back into it. I have a lot of ambitions, a lot of plans, and I'm looking forward to not only just keeping it for the stream, but like working on IRL stuff as well.
That's
Just
awesome.
growing as a person, I want to get a new job. I want to potentially maybe move out, but I'm not sure. But I have a lot of things I want to do. I want to go out traveling. I want to meet people that I've met through Twitch. Because New Year's, I got to spend New Year's with Totally Serial and Mythical Visage. They're both wonderful people. So I want to do more of that. Guys, everyone that I've met through Twitch has been absolutely amazing. So I want to get to know them.
That's awesome.
Gotta do those things. So, yeah.
Richie, what's yours?
I think every year I kind of had like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do for the entire. By the end of the year, this and this. I think for me, I don't want to say I get lazy or I lose sight of it, but I feel like it's better for me to take it definitely day to day, and then at the end of the month, kind of track progress and a couple things that I want to do. I don't have like one very specific goal. It's a couple of things that I've wanted to work on. Obviously, it's continue with the weight, continue with physical therapy. Just kind of these it's take the stepping stones and keep working towards this vision that I have of what I want and who I want to be. And I just think that's it. I think my main, I guess if we're gonna blanket the entire year, is to stay focused.
Okay.
And that's it. Not really to lose sight of what I really, really want. Because last year was kind of the first year that I had any sort of idea of like, oh, I should really like pinpoint what I want to do or want this and that, and then work for it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of keeping my head in the ground, not in the ground in the sense, but like I'm shooting high, but I'm aiming low. And so like I have all these things I want to do, and all these stepping stones that I want to take, and once those stepping stones are done, I'll start streaming again. So that's kind of what I want to do for the year. And that's kind of where I
Alright.
see the end of the year coming through.
So we got stay focused and seize 2019
Mhm.
goals. What is your priority number one goal?
Very nice. I have a very similar thing where I have this nebulous like quality of life type goals.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get into better shape, a little bit more healthy. I want to get a job, get to the point where Queen and I are much more financially stable. Like, give all these like nebulous things of quality of life improvements and stuff like that. So there's that. But if I wanted to like list something kind of small that is I can more easily measure and track,
Yeah.
is I'm going to do a media of the year. So I want to track every movie, TV show, game, and book I read, watch, or do this whole year. Track them all, and then like create like a listing of what I liked, what I didn't like, organize them.
I love
Like it's a
it.
simple little thing, but it's a very definitive beginning and trackable. But my main
Mhm.
thing is like just a general quality of life. Like
Yeah.
be healthier, live healthier, be richer, live richer.
So Wolves has a Patreon. You want to head on over there, give that man, check out his goals, his sub goals, etc. That's a good one. I like it.
I like it too.
My number one goal, and I've talked about it before, is to get 17% body fat. That is my number one. And then when I get there, I'll cosplay as Rogue, because that's been a life dream of mine, to like dress up as my superhero, essentially. So that is the number one goal of 2019.
Can we ask what you're at now?
Yeah, I'm at, let's see, 25, 26, something like that. 25 or 26.
I'd be afraid to know what my percentage is right now. I got a small little gut. Like I always said, like when I tell people like I want to like get better shape and stuff like that, like I don't want to necessarily lose a lot of weight because
Right.
I want to gain more muscle. Like I want to
Right.
lose some fat, gain some muscle, like stay roughly like 180-ish.
Yeah.
So
I have no idea how much I weigh. Like I literally haven't weighed myself in years. I have no idea how much I weigh. So I only know the body fat. That's the only thing I'm measuring.
At least 5 pounds.
At least 5.
At least.
Maybe 10. Not sure.
All right. Are we ready for results time?
Oh, we are so ready. I'm on pins and needles.
Pull me.
All right. So some of these don't have a lot of votes. I'm very disappointed in you, chat.
Wow.
I'm letting them know.
Your number one
All right.
goal, chat. Vote in more polls.
Don't be
So-
toxic, Chad.
Best film that's not a reboot or a sequel. The winner was Spider-Verse.
Nice.
So
Okay.
at 60% of the votes. Let's see. Best TV show to binge watch. with half of the votes of 2 was Riverdale.
Yes.
Hmm.
I didn't vote. It wasn't me.
I didn't vote either.
All right.
I went 2.
So, shit game of the year
Oh, I love it. PG
Was-
stream, by the way, family friendly.
was Fallout 76 with 4 votes.
That's a good
Atlas,
one.
Blackout, and Jurassic World each had 1.
Okay.
Let's see. Game of the year. We got a 3-way split, so we're
Oh,
gonna hold
wow.
off. If anyone has not voted in Game of the Year, get in there and vote because there's 4 games in there, and we have a 3-way split. So this is it again.
Oh, wow.
We'll come back to that
okay,
in a
I'll
second.
have to vote too.
Gotta vote, people. All right.
Are we allowed to vote on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
The next one is Feels. Why is this a public vote? Feels was Wames gives other people's money away.
Oh, that's funny.
There it is.
There you go, Wames. That was the Feels of the year.
Waves is feels weird.
Waves gives other people's money away. That is the
That's the best.
how to make
descriptor.
charity sound bad.
Worst multiplayer was Fallout 76.
Nice.
So both categories of bad it won. All right, let's refresh Game of the Year.
Wolves, you were getting called out by chat as saying you never linked the TV show one. So
Yes, I did.
They said that you did not.
Yes, I
Weird.
did. If you look back up, it's the 171-81061. It is the second one I linked.
Chat, you have been
Fired.
since countered, called out. Anyway.
Yeah, I have
continue.
6. I have 6 results, and I've posted 6 links at 3 minutes and 40. At 3:40.
At what timestamp, Wolves?
At 3:40, because I posted them all back to back.
There you go, 340. You gotta heighten the drama, just like Riverdale.
Call me out on that. All right, back to Game of the Year. All right. We had 3 more votes come in, giving God of War first place, Celeste second place, Spider-Man third.
Nice.
So there we go.
Shit, we did.
That is our Valhalla's polls of the 2018.
There it is.
Toddy says he only has 5 F 340. I have no idea. I don't have timestamps on my chat, unfortunately.
Right after Grey Lord says we have a previous podcast on this topic, then I
Oh, it was at
Post
2. It's at 3:34 or 2:24.
well, I mean, I went through them all several times.
Yeah, like he
Every
posted
time we
them
added one. Yeah, so at 3:24, it's in there again. At 3:10, it's
Instructions unclear. Sorry, that made me laugh.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls. Thus wraps up our extravaganza of a podcast. We had to wrap up 2018. It was a joy. There was ups, there was downs, there was highs, there was lows, there was Richie's, and there was me. So, it was a good year. It was a bad year. Who knows? Everybody has their personal experience. Gonna go ahead and shout out our next podcast episode this year. Valhalla's Most Wanted has a goal of having 2 episodes per month. So our next episode is actually going to be on the 20th. So if you want to check us out again, if you really liked our content and want to see us back, we will be on the 20th Sunday.
And if you'd like to participate, message myself or Platinum as well.
Yes.
Like
100%. 100%.
if you want to be in either of those spots down there, let us know.
Would you like to take my spot?
Hashtag
Well, you can even
summon
leave
for
Waves written
Waves.
under it for you.
Yeah. Do you want to be me?
So yeah, that's happening. It's very exciting. And yeah, go ahead and follow all these amazing people. Some of them stream, some of them don't.
Some of them
but
will
they're
hopefully
all
stream
Valhalla's
again.
Most Wanted. And
Is
we
that
all...
toxic or not? I don't know. I'm gonna cry just to be safe.
Some of them will hopefully stream again.
You have to follow all of them to find out which ones stream and which ones don't.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
We
Just a
taught you
gamble.
well. We taught you well.
But yeah, thank you everybody so much for joining. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful 2019.
Bye.
Adios, amigo.
Let's see if I press the right button.